even beyond that, you know, I looked at the Bible and I never thought, those guys never had anything in common with me. You know, that's not my story. I didn't see that as my story. Through a series of events, my drug addiction kicked in and kicked back in. Got to a point where I ended up homeless. Out here I go from practicing law, driving a Porsche, 3-bedroom house, jacuzzi in the back. All of those things, I lost all of that through my drug addiction. I ended up on the streets. There were times when, I'm not proud to say this, but there have been times when I've eaten out the garbage can. Things that were good in my life that I thought was good, those things turned out to be bad. Because although I was living a good life, I was driving a nice car, I was donating money to various causes, I was on the path straight to hell because I did not have salvation in my life. Going to prison turned out to be the best thing that ever happened to me. Because in prison I was able to actually get a chance to sit down and read the Bible and compare that to my life. Romans 6:21 asks, what fruit have you not of things which you once ashamed? And I read that passage and I started looking back over things that I was taking pride in, the fact that, you know, when I first started out, I knew a lot of lawyers and people like that were getting high. So I really didn't have to be out there on the streets, but I did get to that point. And those things got me to prison, you know. And if it hadn't been for prison, I probably never would have come into my personal relationship with Christ. You know, I always knew him, but I didn't have that personal relationship. And that personal relationship is what made the difference. And there's a story about Jesus and the paralyzed man, the man on that mat. I was that man. I was paralyzed. I wasn't physically paralyzed, but I was paralyzed by shame, guilt, all of those type things. And I didn't know where to go get help. But there were men men came into my life, men like you guys, and like David Pena. These guys knew where to take me to get that help. They took me to Jesus, and he was the one that could heal me. And you know, if you look at that story, neither one of those guys could have took that guy to where he needed to be by himself. It took all of them to do that. And the great lesson that we can learn from that is that it shows you what the body of Christ can do when they're working in unity. And before I sit down, I would simply like to say, you know, in prison, that was just half the battle. It's easy there. You don't have to worry about the concerns of the world. You don't have to worry about eating, housing, or any of those things. But when you get out, that's when you face your real challenges. And had it not been, I had been in prison before. And I got out and I went back to the same environment, and the same thing happened. I ended up back in prison. I didn't have any men in my life that took an interest in me after I got out. Through Texas Reach Out, you know, those problems were solved. You know, if you don't have a place to stay, you can't get a job. And not only that, that's not the most important thing, but the most important thing is that you continue to nurture that relationship. You know, Paul talks about being a babe and you have to feed them baby food. And once we get out of prison, we're no longer that baby, you know. We need someone there to feed us that solid food. Through Texas Reach Out, guys like you working with Texas Reach Out, I've been able to get that solid meat. You know, this is an opportunity to get that solid meat. I appreciate that. And there's a lot more to my story, but I know we, in a short time, we'll just try to get the highlights for you. Also, there's a story in the Bible about blind Bartimaeus. And when we get out of prison, that's what we are. We have that cloak on us. We have to learn how to take that cloak off. Through programs like Texas Reach Out, they help you. You know, you don't have to take it off by yourself. You know, they'll take it off for you. They get that stigma off your back. They'll put you on solid ground. You know, show you that you are something. Continue to nurture you in God. I have a mentor through that program. I got my job through that program. I've been working. I had a pretty decent job. This is not like really what I want to do, but I'm content. The things that I used to desire, I don't desire those things anymore. You know, David's wife, she's a wonderful woman. I have not met any person through Texas Reach Out that I didn't feel was just wonderful. And most of all those people are led by the Spirit of God. And that's what we need in our life, just not in prison, but once we get out, even more so.
Amen. Thanks, man.